Today we are joined by Dr. Mark Fishbein to talk about pressing a herbarium card and all the information that needs to be collected. So thank you for sharing this with us. Tell us what the first step is.
Well, glad to tell you about it. So we collect herbarium specimens in order to document what species occur where, and when they were collected, when they're flowering, when they're fruiting, etc. And to preserve material that can be studied by researchers at any time in the future. So when doing so, we want to collect as much information as we can to make them maximally valuable. And that means knowing exactly where you were and when you collected it, and to write down things like the color of the flowers, which won't preserve very well over time. They may fade. The height of the plant. And so I might jot down for this indigo plant that we just collected, its flower color being pink, and that it is a shrub, and maybe a few other things like that.
Okay, so when you're collecting, can you collect from the wild? We didn't collect this from the wild, we just got it from our container over there.
Yeah, more often than not, it's wild plants that we're interested in, because we might be interested in how species are responding to climate change or morphology changes from place to place.
And now this indigo is a big plant. You just took a small portion of that, so that would be something you would write in your information.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, this specimen here is not telling the whole story, so I try to fill that out a little bit with my notes.
Okay, all right. So obviously a 3D, four-dimensional, three-dimensional plant here. How do we press that so that it's flat?
Because yes, ultimately the herbarium specimen is going to be two-dimensional, and so I just need to write down one thing on this sheet, which is going to be a collection number from my field notebook. Okay. And then when I come back to this later, I can connect my notes with my specimen.
Okay, so we just got regular newspaper there that you're pressing it in.
Yeah, so this plant press is made up of newsprint and blotter paper to soak up water and corrugated cardboard to allow ventilation and airflow.
So fancy materials you need here.
Yeah, it's amazing. This technology that's hundreds of years old is just as good today as it was when it was first developed.
Right.
So here, what am I going to do with this? I'm going to turn some leaves over, because when this is two-dimensional, I want to be able to study the top and the bottom of the leaf after this is glued down on a sheet of herbarium paper. I'm going to fold these flowers down into a place where I can see them later, and then I'll just fold that over, make sure everybody stays inside, and this, as we'll see later, is going to turn into a beautiful herbarium specimen.
Okay, so it's really about just pressing those, trying to hold them as structuredly as possible down.
Yeah, arranging it, because not only do we want to get the most information out of them, I think of a herbarium specimen as not only a piece of scientific information, but also kind of an artistic expression too, and a beautiful herbarium specimen is something that anybody could appreciate.
Yeah, and now this obviously isn't the end of the process, so we'll capture more of the process, but tell us what's going to happen and how long will we need to let this dry for?
Yeah, so to make a nice specimen, it's crucial for it to dry as quickly as possible, so we generally get some help, especially on a humid day like today. So we have equipment in the herbarium, a heated dryer that has a good airflow in it, and this could be dry in 2 or 3 days.
Okay. Yeah. So is this something that, if I was a gardener at home and I kind of wanted to make a collection of what's in my garden, that they could do? And do they need an official plant press like this, or what could they do?
No, you can be very inventive about this, and anybody can make a herbarium specimen. So it's just a matter of having airflow and something to squish the plant flat. Okay. So you can use your imagination about how to do that. I have, in a pinch, used stacks of heavy books on top of just newspaper with some cardboard that I had in the house, and that was good enough, especially when I lived in Arizona where it was nice and dry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So other than that, is there any preserving technique that's, nothing that's painted on them or sprayed on them to preserve them?
Yeah, it's amazing. Once the plant's dry, it can stay in good condition and provide information for literally hundreds of years. We can study herbarium specimens that were collected in the 1500s and still learn things about those plants.
Wow, that's exciting. What is the oldest one that you've got there?
So
in
at the OSU Herbarium, we have a specimen from 1843 that was collected in Oklahoma when it was, even before it was Oklahoma Territory.
Wow.
So much less a state.
Okay, well, if the trees could talk, as they say, right?
Right.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this, and we'll catch back up as this dries.
That sounds great, Casey.
Thank you. We hope you enjoyed this video as part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on the OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.